Just put your trust in me. Anything you need, have faith in me. Just ask in my name. Oh, oh, just ask in my name.
All things are possible. I'm able. In my name, all things they can come boldly.
I am the Father. Just put your trust in me. Anything you need, have faith in me. Just ask in my name. Oh, oh, just ask in my name. Oh, there is power in the name. There is power in the name.
There is joy in the name. If you're looking for joy, it's all in my name. There is love in my name. I've got love, 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 love in my name.
Proverbs chapter 3, starting at the first verse. And some of you are still turning, but you'll catch up. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. You may be seated. God's word is blessed. Pray with me. Trusting God is the reality of life. There are a lot of situations, a lot of things, a lot of events, a lot of talk, and a lot of advertisement out there on Facebook and on television and just in regular communing with others in the world, that we are given elements of illusions. They're not real. Is somebody playing a game or trying to play a game or trying to make you think that something exists that really, truly does not? It's all an illusion. But I'm here to tell you, young people, that trusting God is the reality. The book of Proverbs teaches us that wisdom is not simply intellectual, but it involves the whole person, the man, woman, boy, or girl. And Solomon, along with a few others, Pastor Taylor, is credited with writing this particular book. But Solomon, at the zenith of his fame, was the very embodiment of this wisdom that we're talking about today. For Solomon loved the Lord, if you look at 1 Kings 3:3, and he prayed for understanding mind, which could distinguish good and evil. You will find that in Kings 3:9 and 12. His wisdom was God-given 1 Kings again, 4 and 9, and accompanied by genuine humility. 1 Kings 3 and 7. You have to humble yourself before the Lord. So if anyone, I would say that Solomon was an expert in this area. I would say he's an expert. In other words, Pastor Taylor, he is a reliable source. And young people, let me just give you a little nugget of wisdom. Always, are you listening? Always consider the source. If the news is negative, messy, fault-finding, or derogatory, the person who brings it to you is usually that type of person. Stay away from negative people. Proverbs. What is a proverb? Thank you so kindly for asking, Deacon James. The word Proverbs comes from the Hebrew word mashal, meaning to rule or to govern. A proverb is a brief saying that makes a practical point, usually by comparing or contrasting an idea with something familiar. Proverbs are just not wise sayings. They are rules covering a broad range of topics, young people. Just as you have different subjects and classes at school, you have your math, you have your science, you have your English, just like you have that Proverbs addresses different issues and different areas that concern your everyday life. The reality, the world that you live in, the reality of life is what we're talking about here, because it's all good when we talk about the pie in the sky, but you have to live life now, and there is a way to live it. And as we look to our text, we find that in Proverbs, the emphasis is on wisdom as a way of life, and the aim of this book is not just the achievement of material gain or success, and Reverend Allen said that to you at Children's Church, but it's the inculcation or proper application of wisdom in order to live a godly, righteous, and sober life. Not living life haphazardly, not just doing anything because you're big enough and old enough and grown enough that you think you can do it and you think that nobody is watching you. Proverbs, my brothers and sisters, it offers no guarantees, but it describes what typically results from making both wise and foolish decisions. The choice, central thesis, if you would, of the book of Proverbs is that true wisdom comes from fearing God. Proverbs 9 and 10 tells us that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the holy ones brings understanding. Now, by fear, young people, the writers of Proverbs do not mean that you should cower and fright before God, unless, of course, you've done something that you should be cowering and fright before God. But rather, the fear of the Lord means to have awe, inspiring reverence for God's own wisdom and justice and love. For he has the power to do all things but fail. God is both the source and example of true wisdom. Again, as I said, young people, always consider your source. Fearing God ensures that you live circumspectly, with the constant awareness that the eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on both the wicked and the good. And you will find that in Proverbs 15 and 3. And how many of you know that you can run, but you can't hide?